noted that on March 26th at 9:10, the Appraisal Board is in session. In accordance with the General Statute 138A-15, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from any undue participation in the particular matter involved. Nothing from the board members. All right, thank you. Okay, we move on to approval of the agenda.
So moved, and so the chairman take it in order as determined.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion to second to consider approving the agenda with items taken in any order determined by the chairman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Approval of minutes. We have two exhibits, 1 and 1A, and I asked if there's any discussion on either one because we could have combined them and approved them as one motion, if everybody's happy with the January 29th and February 25th special meeting exhibit 1A.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept them both together.
All right.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve both the minutes of January 29th, 2019 and February 25th, 2019. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Mr. Rogers, do we have anybody for open forum today?
No, we do not have anybody requesting to speak at the open forum.
Okay. And you wish to address the finance?
Yeah, there's, you have in your packet, your finance report, profit and loss statement for February and January and February. Don't think there's anything unusual right now. I think we are waiting on another payment to the AG's office, and so you might see the same number. Trying to iron out the closeout on Ms. Willette's salary and startup on Ms. Panico's, but that's nothing unusual. It's just we didn't get a new, we don't have a new bill as of February yet, so if Sandra's not getting paid, she'll probably let us know. But everything else is pretty much in order. I will say just some financial items coming around the corner, since this is probably a good place to mention it. Once the pollen falls, we will have the building pressure washed, and I'm seeing a few places that's probably going to be needing of repainting. So we'll probably, if you've noticed, the front doors look extremely bad. So we may even look at painting those black. I don't know. They look pretty rough. So, but we will be looking into those items again as soon as the weather turns.
What color are the front doors?
White.
White.
Well, gray.
I've never come in there.
They're actually gray now, but they're supposed to be white.
Okay, anything else on finance?
That's it.
Okay, we do have public hearing rulemakers today, and I will start that process. My name is Charles McGill. I am the chairman of the North Carolina Appraisal Board and will preside over this hearing. The public rulemaking hearing of the North Carolina Appraisal Board is hereby convened. Let the record show that it is now 9:16. It is March 26, 2019, and the location of this hearing is the office of the North Carolina Appraisal Board in Raleigh, North Carolina. Other members of the board who are present at this hearing David Weitzel, Dwight Vinson, Sarah Burnham, Clay Taylor, Jeremy Scotton, and Mike Warren. The North Carolina Appraisal Board, pursuant to the authority vested in it by the North Carolina Appraisers Act and the North Carolina Administrative Procedures Act, proposes to amend rules contained in Title 21, Chapters 57A and 57B. Notice of this hearing will be published in the North Carolina Register, has been published, in the North Carolina Register, Volume 33, Issue 12. A copy of the notice of rulemaking proceedings will be made permanent part of the record in this manner. The hearing is being conducted in accordance with the provisions of Article 2, Chapter 150B of the North Carolina General Statutes. Our purpose is to provide interested persons an opportunity to present their views concerning the rulemaking action proposed. Please note at this time for the board to not receive remarks. Members of the board will respond to questions but will listen to any comments. If members of the public need clarification of proposed rules, I suggest they please contact a member of the board staff. Before the board hears comments from members of the public present at this hearing and from staff, the Sonia Panico Board's Council will present the proposed rules.
The proposed rules and the notice, can you hear me? Yeah. The proposed rules and notice of public hearing were published in Volume 33, Issue 12 of the North Carolina Register on December 17, 2018. At this time, I would like to enter into the record a complete text of the proposed rulemaking action as Exhibit A, and I'll hand it to the court reporter. Mr. Chairman, copies of the rules are available to all persons attending this hearing. I think everybody has them. They're over there. For those of you who are not familiar with the marking system used to indicate proposed changes to the existing rules, you might find it helpful to know that in your handout, the proposed additions to the existing rules are indicated by underlining, and the proposed deletions are indicated by a line that strikes through the text in the current rule. As the proposed rules have been properly exposed, they will not be read into the record. Instead, for the sake of brevity, I will summarize them. So there are 5 rules. 21 NCAC 57A.0204. Prior to this proposed rule change, the rule was internally inconsistent. In 2014, the language was changed to allow trainees and appraisers to take qualifying courses for continuing education, but the language in paragraph B was not amended. This change clarifies that trainees and appraisers may take qualifying courses for continuing education. The second proposed rule change is 21 NCAC 57A.0211. Currently, the board requires a letter of good standing from applicants for certification by reciprocity, and staff also verifies this information on the National Register. Several states no longer issue a letter of good standing or license history. For temporary practice permits, this change will remove the requirement of a letter of good standing and allow the staff to verify credentials on the National Registry. The next rule is 21 NCAC 57A.0407. This amendment makes it clear that only one trainee may get credit for each appraisal report. And the final 2 rules, 21 NCAC 57B.0306 and 21 NCAC 57B.0606. Both of these rules refer to an instructor submitting a recording instead of a videotape, so it changes it to a recording instead of a videotape. And those are the proposed changes. There were no written comments received by either myself or Mr. Rogers, and we put that out in notice regarding these rules. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Kent. I understand that we have a list of members who, from the public, that we wish to comment on the proposed.
We had no one sign up.
We have no one at this point.
That's correct.
Okay, so we can move on, and thank you for your remarks, and then Mr. Rogers, as a staff, have any comments on the proposed rules?
Yes, we do. As it was noted, we received no written comments, and there were no comments this morning. So I'll address each of the rules and make a recommendation from staff. On 21 NCAC 57A 0204B, as was noted, this rule has been internally inconsistent. We have been allowing trainees and licensees to take continuing ed, qualifying ed for continuing ed, but this made it clear that you can double dip, so to speak, and so we would recommend approving this rule as presented. 21 NCAC 57A 0211A, currently, and just to a slight correction to what Ms. Panico said, this is for applicants by reciprocity, not temporary practice, but currently we require a letter of good standing from applicants for certification by reciprocity, and as was mentioned, many states no longer issue a letter of good standing, or they charge something for it, or that it has to be printed off their website. The information is available through the Appraisal Subcommittee's National Registry, so it's kind of a duplicate effort. However, having reviewed this rule since the time the board voted to proceed, staff would like to recommend not adopting this time and rewriting to incorporate Part B, which talks about applicants who have an out-of-state license but are residents of North Carolina, and I believe this rule could be better written if we took it back and rewrote it with both together. So would recommend not adopting it this time, and we will bring it back at the very next rulemaking. As you know, we can't make substantive changes after we've exposed it. 21 NCAC 57A 0407H. We have seen instances where more than one trainee was trying to claim experience for the same report. This just makes it clear that only one trainee can get credit for an appraisal report for an assignment. Just to be clear, if there was a situation with two trainees and one trainee worked with the supervisor and another trainee did a demonstration report of the same property, that would not be disallowed. This would just be two of them working on the same assignment at the same time, and they're supposed to contribute 75%, so as you can see, the math gets a little hard to work if they're both trying to do that. So staff recommends adopting this rule as presented. And then I will put the other two together, 21 NCAC 57B 0306D and 21 NCAC 57B 06068. And both of these rules refer to instructors submitting a videotape at the request of the board. And this is just to come in line with more modern technology and change the word to recording. We very seldom have to use this tool, but we have had submissions in the past, so we do need to keep the rule up to date, so staff recommends adopting these rules as presented. And that's the staff's comments.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. The record of this proceeding will be made available for public inspection at the board's office during regular business hours. The board will consider remarks made today, and that's limited somewhat to the staff remarks, but nevertheless, we will consider them. And we will consider the comments, and we will make a decision on the proposed rulemaking action. Members of the board, and I would like to thank you for your comments. At this point, the hearing is concluded. And I think at this point, we'll take a break.
Yes, just to give the court reporter time to break down.
Right.
Just a few minutes. Thank you.